The format of this, one, thank you for getting on the call. It's great to see everybody. We want this to be interactive, but also it's got to have a little bit of a, I don't know, system to it. So if you have questions along the way, Erin and I are going to kind of take turns with some of the slide deck here. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. She has told me it is my job to monitor the chat. And when appropriate, we will then insert your question or questions and make sure that we make this a good, fun, informative experience. Fair enough?
Fair.
All right. Okay. Well, Erin, you have the slide deck up. I think we're ready to go.
Okay.
You might want to remind everyone to mute while you're presenting.
Oh, Daryl, would you please mute?
Is there a butthead icon?
Oh, this is what I love about this group. Nothing is sacred.
That's right.
Okay,
Nothing.
yeah, no, Daryl makes a good point. If you're not going to be speaking, you know, inadvertently things happen in the background, and then I have to like track down who's causing the noise and mute you myself. So just stay on mute unless you're going to be saying something, interacting. Okay. All right, let us get underway. So I wanted to start off with for those of you who don't know me, most of you do, but a lot of you maybe don't. I've been in the business for 22 years. I've been 16 plus years as a principal broker. I've owned my own company. I sold to a much larger company that had 1,000 agents. And then I came to the Holy Land of RE/MAX Associates and the big ecosystem and the unique approach that we have to the business, and so happy to be a part of this, and now a year and a half into it and still thrilled to be here. But having said all of that, in my 16 years as a principal broker, I get a lot of conversations with agents, one-on-ones, right? And this is spanning that 16, 17 years. And, you know, it's a sad experience, and yet it can be helpful when an agent comes in, and it is literally one of my most frequent questions. If I were to like do a tally sheet of the questions that I get as a principal broker, and it's usually seasonal, and there's some version of this. Hey, Matt, you know what? My business is really struggling. I'm just not sure if real estate is for me, or, you know, there's just this glob of self-doubt. And my wife tells me I'm not really good at this, but I try and be empathetic. But there's always two questions that I come to almost without fail when I'm having that type of a discussion. And one of those questions is, would you mind showing me your SOI and your CRM? And the second question is, and tell me about your business plan, right? Because I have found over all of those years, sadly, that when those conversations are taking place, it's usually because there's not a good answer, or there's no answer when I ask, show me your SOI and tell me about your business plan. And so it's kind of with that backdrop that we want to take these next 5 trainings and paint a picture for you of the tools that we have at our disposal at RE/MAX Associates, how the pieces of the puzzle fit together, and why it's so important, right? So with that, let's go on to the next slide, Erin. We wanted this metaphor, right? Literally to show you a piece of the puzzle. The SOI is really the first piece, the first layer. So I want, for those of you on the call, Erin, you monitor this. I can't watch the chat at the same time, or not the chat, but the gallery. Raise your hand if you think you have a really solid SOI and CRM. No, really.
Nobody's raising. Nope.
All right. Well, then you're at the right place.
Oh, Dawn said yes.
Okay, Don, good for you. We'll rely on your expertise. But isn't it kind of funny? I think if we were having a moment of clarity between all of us and we were counseling somebody else, it's easier to counsel somebody else. You know, it would be pretty easy for us to say, well, you know what? I'm going to use like the catchphrases we hear all the time. We have to treat this like a business, right? If you want to have success, you can still have fun in the business, but you talk to the successful agents, and you get a common theme. You got to treat it to some degree like a business. And at the core of that is your SOI, CRM, and having a business plan. All right, so I want to take one more second here and just explain, coming to Remax Associates, when Ron came to me almost 2 years ago and said, hey, listen, we're doing something unique in the industry. Certainly, we all know about the ecosystem, right? The fact that we are agent owned and client focused, and the fact that we have lending, title, insurance brokerage, our own a fantastic marketing company. We have relationships with home warranty providers, but underpinning all of that is a suite of offerings that done right will truly make you treat this like a business and actually, I think, get more enjoyment, satisfaction, and certainly more business out of the equation here. So when we talk about that, we've got the certainly the emphasis on your SOI. We've got kvCORE, and let me just take a minute on kvCORE. In my years of experience dealing with a lot of high producing agents, teams, et cetera, one of the kvCORE's been part of the mix over the past several years, but another one that has been integral to that is Boomtown. And both, so kvCORE is owned by Inside Real Estate, and you'll see that they have their fingers in a lot of different pies, and I'll touch on this a little more later, but they actually purchased Boomtown, right? And that's not so that they could knock out a competitor. It's because they understand how important having a functioning platform, a functioning CRM to manage your SOI is integral to success. So having this suite of products, whether it's kvCORE, whether it's our Remax Utah Home app, whether it's our wonderful marketing team, these are the reasons why, in the greater context of our ecosystem, that I decided to make a jump, and I'm glad to be a part of this with all of you. All right, let's move on, Aaron. Next slide. All right, so interesting. I'm a stat guy for those who don't know me. I'm a expressive analytical, and so I'm always looking for numbers to kind of justify my positions. And I think this is an interesting stat from NAR. NAR report found that 87% of buyers and 86% of sellers use a real estate agent that was recommended by a friend, neighbor, or relative. Just let that one sink into your brain a little bit, right? That is the vast majority of our potential clients being referred or having some type of connection with us, either directly or through a friend, neighbor, or relative. And so, sorry? Oh, so like it says on here, this really does emphasize how important what we're talking about today is. I would dare say it's fundamental to your success. All right, so next slide, Aaron. Here's, I'm not going to have too many stat slides, but I wanted to make the emotional impact here so you understand and can make something actionable out of today. 93% of consumers say they'll work with the same agent again, because at the time they're all excited, right? We know this, the drill, when you get somebody to the closing table and they're signing settlement, and you got your closing gift, and it's just a feel-good moment, right? And when they're asked at that moment, hey, are you going to use the same agent? Oh my gosh, yes, me is wonderful. I would use me again. She's a fantastic agent. And the reality is 15% do. Isn't that pathetic? And so it begs the question, why? If at one point they're saying, yep, I want to use this agent again because they really had my best interest at heart, and then they end up actually not doing that, kind of begs the question, why, right? So this is where it becomes interactive. Why is that? Somebody chime in, tell me why. Anybody?
I dropped the ball and did not keep in contact with them.
Yeah, not staying front of mind.
There
Yes.
you go. That you're going to hear that phrase several times today. Top of mind, top of mind, top of mind. You know, it's kind of interesting because we spend so much time, and I think part of the problem is we get a little bit of what we call transaction fatigue, just like the client does, right? And we get them across the finish line, and we take that, you know, metaphorical deep breath, and I got it done. And we're like, yeah, I know I should stay in touch with them and I will, but I just need to take a breather. And that's where we dropped the ball. So if we could develop systems that would help, we can't completely get rid of the emotion, the thing that I just described, but if we had systems in play that help mitigate that, then we would stay more top of mind, which means we'd have repeat business. I'm going to share one more thing. In this industry, I'm going to paint with a really broad brush. There's two camps. There's the churn and burn camp, which is I just keep finding new clients and I do a deal with them and then forget them because I don't want to wait around for them to do another deal. Very short-sighted. And then there's the other camp that says, and this is the one I've always told my agents is, if you can do your business right for the first year or two and treat your clients right and stay forefront of the mind, the business starts walking to you. And that's when the business is fun, right? When people show up and say, hey, had a great experience with you. I've got another deal to do. Or they refer their kids, their parents, brothers, sisters, neighbors, whatever. It reinforces that we're actually about something good and we don't have to go pound the pavement to find a new client. So that's the big overarching umbrella picture of why we're doing what we're doing with these trainings. All right, the first piece of the puzzle is to actually organize and get your SOI into kvCORE, right? I asked a question earlier. Now I'm going to ask a more detailed question. How many of you have your SOI into kvCORE? Anyone? All right. Amy, awesome. I can't see the rest of the screen, Aaron.
I'm trying, I'm doing it.
Maureen,
Don Patton, Daryl
Don Patton.
Stevens. Okay, right. Good job. And I know, Parker, you're working hard on it. That's awesome.
Already have it done.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
Yeah, I had
Nice.
it done a while ago. I'm actually importing it into another kvCORE as well.
Awesome.
Stockton.
Fantastic. All right, so we have some believers, and so this isn't a theoretical exercise. This actually can be done. And you know, when we talk to agents about this, it's kind of like, well, I don't have an SOI. Aaron, what do you say to an agent when they say, well, I don't actually have an SOI captured?
Everybody does, because it's in your phone, it's in your email, it's in your past clients. Everybody has, you just have to export it.
Yeah. And now, not every agent is a technologist, and that's the beauty of having our own marketing company, and not just our marketing company, but a marketing company that understands what we're about and how these pieces fit together. And Erin and her team are willing to take a dump from your phone, from your email, and collapse that into essentially the beginnings of your SOI and get that imported into kvCORE. So there's really no excuse to not start the process. How hard is that? How long does that usually take you, Aaron?
Well, us on the phone, it will take us probably 15 minutes, maybe even less time, if you know how to log into your email. And then after that, for us, we can get it over in probably a couple business days to you to review. And then after you say good to go, it's up in kvCORE within an hour. So
And to
pretty
be
fast.
clear, when you talk about review, right, the taking the data from those sources is as good as you organized it in those places. So I'll use a personal example. I'm a busy guy. And so I said, hey, Aaron, why don't you guys do that for me? And they took my email and they took my phone. And I was surprised because I had, I can't remember, over 1,000, entries in there. But my job at that point is to go through and say, hey, do I have these people classed right? And I don't care how you classify them. Are they a past client? Are they a current client? Or are they a B, or a C, or a D client? There's all different ways to do it, but you have to essentially go through the contacts that they've exported and make sure they're clean. You'll find, as my experience was, that there's some that are like, oh, can't believe they're still in my quote unquote database. They moved out of the state, they passed whatever, and just clean it up. Right? You want to start from as clean a data source as possible.
Yeah, and you might have like on your phone contacts, you have a phone number, and then your email contacts, you have an email, and we're going to merge those two contacts together. so that they're one contact with both the phone number and email. So we will do all of that for you. It's just categorizing them afterwards.
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right. So, and I would just characterize this. This is the quote unquote not so heavy, but it is the heavy lift of the beginnings of this, right? I mean, we've got to get this done first, and if you do that, everything else tends to run way more smoothly. All right, if you could click to the next slide, Aaron. So we've got many more testimonials than this, but we kind of wanted to share this with you. Some testimonials. One's from Dan Dixon, who's our broker in our Pleasant Grove office, and then and Dan he will tell you he's not a technologist per se, and so I love the fact that we have his quote, and he always claims he's a busy guy, but and then we have Ted Payne, who's been in the business a long time, very successful. We have others that are first timers. My point is this: as I have those discussions I referred to at the beginning with agents, I get a lot of excuses after I ask those questions, and they're in the category of, oh, I'm not a tech person, I don't have the time, I need to be out doing the business. It doesn't matter your level of experience, your years in the industry, how much time you have. Anyone can do this. Anyone can do this. And that's the crazy part about this. Anyone can do this, and not everybody is doing it, and it's core at making your business really take off. So I just wanted to share with you that those that have engaged with kvCORE are saying wonderful things about it, that it kind of gets rid of the perceived demons of, oh, it's so hard to do. It really is not. This is a simple system. Am I speaking out of turn, Aaron?
No, you are correct. I mean, there's a lot of complex things that you can do inside of it, but to make it work and work for your business, it's very simple to use.
Yeah. And so I'm going to finish with this statement, and then I'll let Aaron get into some of the other layers. We're not, these trainings, this and the next 4 are not to go into every nook and cranny of kvCORE and show you every bell and whistle and possibility, because our experience has been, for the vast majority of agents, that just makes them tune out. We're trying to apply the Pareto principle here, right? An Italian mathematician who came up with the 80-20 rule. We're going to give you the 20% that is most important, that's going to give you 80% bang for the buck in kvCORE and its associated pieces. So with that, Aaron, let's have you jump into the next piece, which is the kvCORE platform.
All right, Maureen has a comment. Maureen, do you wanna...
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say that thank you. It's extremely helpful to have Erin and her team do the dump. And if you remember back in the day, if you were back in the day when you'd cold call with your planner, like A through C today, or D through F tomorrow, or that's basically what I'm trying to do with our database to update, you know, all of the address and phone numbers and emails, and just like kind of biting the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Good point. Thank you for the testimonial. All right,
Thanks.
Aaron.
All right, you guys. So I am excited to talk to you guys about this. I have been working with kvCORE for over 8 years. So I've been inside, I've worked with them on improving things inside of kvCORE. So I want to talk about a few things that stick out to me about the kvCORE platform. One is the Core Presents. It's an online and print listing and buyer presentation that has a CMA built inside of it. We will be doing a module at the very end. Well, Dan Dixon will. He was a former appraiser, and he is the broker of our Utah County office. And so he will be doing that presentation, does an excellent job. So make sure you come back for that one. That will be in 4 weeks. I also want to talk about the personal website that you get with kvCORE. So not only is it a client management system, but it also ties into a real estate website, which is connected to your MLS. So it's not only your listings on that website, but it's also every listing that's on the MLS. So if Coldwell Banker or Keller Williams lists a property, it's those listings as well. But it's branded to you. So even if it's a Coldwell Banker listing, it's going to have your photo, your contact information for your client to get back to you.
Hey, Aaron, I'm going to try and keep my comments to a minimum, but I want to interject where I think it's important, because
Yes.
I mean, IDX, which you just kind of described, right? Being able to show all other brokerages listings, that's been out there for a while. That's not super exciting, but what's exciting about this is the fact that we can, with the kvCORE platform, we can monitor the activity as they're viewing. This is why it's important for you to get integrated with this. It gives you analytics, it gives you predictive information, and it helps you with your business. So don't just brush it off and, oh, well, IDX, everybody does IDX, but not combined with a powerful platform like kvCORE.
Yeah, so if they save a property, you're alerted. If they want to request a showing, you're going to be alerted on that. So there's a lot of different tools inside of kvCORE that other websites don't have. And then also, and going into it is the marketing autopilot, which is great. So if you have a new lead on your website and they're looking, kvCORE is going to try to help you get in contact with that person. We know that you're busy, so it's going to start sending them text messages and emails and saying, hey, I saw that you were on the website looking at this home. How can I help you? It also is smart enough that it's going to go put on listing alerts for you. So after somebody's been on your website looking at particular property, it will go and put listing alerts based on what they had been looking at on your website and start sending them daily emails of homes that they might like. And so that engages them and brings them back to your website. So it is truly a smart CRM. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, point with that, because some people, I've had some comments, well, I don't want my people inundated. These things are customizable and tweakable, right? You're in control. So don't be afraid that all of a sudden your people are going to get inundated. This is within your control, how often they're contacted.
Yes, you can turn these things off or on, and it's also based on different categories, different statuses. So if it's a new lead, why not? You know, it's not one of your clients and the system's trying to get a hold of it. But if you decide you don't want that, there is a way to turn all that off, depending on different categories or what they're looking at. So yes, you're right, Matt. You can turn those off if that's something that you're not wanting. And then I wanted to go into, I mean, Matt already talked about it a little bit, but Boomtown and kvCORE. So I did a lot of investigating for kvCORE. I worked very closely with the CEO and Ron Snow, and they had me go out and interview all of the systems like kvCORE. So I did that last year. And the only one that stuck out to me as they have a few things that are better than kvCORE was Boomtown. And I brought that information back to them. And then I found out, I got a call right before it was announced from Ron, is that kvCORE was actually acquiring Boomtown. So I'm super excited to see what the future looks like. It's going to be amazing having the two best platforms out there combined and giving us the best real estate platform out there. So I'm excited to see what the years to come are going to show.
I had that question, Aaron, from a couple of agents, like, well, does that mean we're now going to be shifting to Boomtown? Ron has a software background. I have a software background of 11 years before getting into real estate. And software companies don't acquire other software companies typically to have a competing offering with their flagship product. If they're acquiring something like that, it's because they're going to take the two and take best of class and combine it into one super product. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. We're going to have more and more functionality as this goes forward.
Yeah. And one thing to say about that, Matt, is like when the Remax came on with kvCORE, all of a sudden the chat was inundated. And it took like a day to get back to us. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. As soon as they brought those two companies together, it's like 10 minutes for support to respond. It's crazy fast now. So that's just one feature that you can see that's already improved a lot, having Boomtown part of it now, and bringing that system over. So I'm excited. And then the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is, before you come to the next training, these are things that I think are very important that you need to make sure that you have done inside of kvCORE. If you don't know your login to kvCORE, please get with me. But after you get inside of your kvCORE, up at the top right-hand corner, you're going to see your name. And if you click on it, it's going to say edit profile. This is super important. Make sure your name's in there. Make sure you have a title. Make sure your phone number's right. Make sure you have this checkbox show on site so that your phone number is showing on your website. Make sure your email's correct. Put all of your social media logins in there. And then make sure you have an email signature and a bio.
and make sure your MLS ID is in there
Yes.
correctly.
That's the next one. The most important thing I think is, well, your phone number is pretty important, but your MLS ID, let me explain this to you. It ties in all of your listings to you. So if they go to Remax Associates Homes and starts looking for on our company website, and they come across your listing and you don't have the MLS ID in there, it's going to go to a random agent because it doesn't know. So these things are important that you make sure that you have your MLS ID in. If you don't know where to find it, you can get with me, but it's usually in your profile on the MLS. If you're in St. George, it's a really long number. And then if you're here in the northern, it's like 5 digits. So.
Yeah, to be clear, I'll just from the MLS side, we have 4 predominant MLSs in the state of Utah. UtahRealEstate.com, which covers about 94% of our population. We've got that covered. If you're Iron County, Park City, or Washington County, you need to make sure, because their numbers are different. We don't always have direct access to that. So pay particular attention if you're in those MLSs.
Yep. And if you need help, feel free again to reach out and I can tell you where those are located. One thing that's really awesome in the system
Can
that
I ask you a quick question?
yes.
On that ID, if you're part of 2 separate boards, does it allow you to put both numbers in there?
Yep. Type out the number, press comma, type out another number.
Thank
Matt
you.
just did this. So
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, the next thing is setting up market report emails. This is really important. This is going to help you stay forefront of your client's mind. This is easy to do. You have to do it one time. It takes 2 minutes, if not faster, to set these up. You have to go into their profile and add them. And we will be going into how to do this inside of kvCORE in the next modules to come. And so make sure you come back and we'll show you how to do it. But this is going to send an email to them either every 7, 14, 21, or 28 days. I suggest 28 days if it is one of your clients, because they might not be actively looking. So you don't want to be too annoying and have them unsubscribe. So, but what it does is it sends them an email of what's going on in the market around them. You can do it as broad as by county or as zip code. So you can really narrow it down if you really want to, and you know where they're located. You could say, I'm going to set up a market report in Ogden, and then it would send them an email every 28 days of what's going on in the market. It shows the average sales price, the average days on market, and then the price per square feet. They can go view that report, and they can even see more details, as you can see right here on the screen. And it has even more details where they can go click and look at the listings. So this is really important. I would suggest setting this up for all of your clients inside of kvCORE.
Hey, Aaron, quick comment on that. I know you're about to jump into the Utah app and how this dovetails with that, but guys, this is what we're talking about. Going back to those 2 questions, tell me about your SOI and tell me your business plan. A subcomponent of your business plan should be, how am I literally having belly-to-belly conversations with our clients? So you just using this one simple thing as an example, rather than just assuming, I mean, you could do that, assuming that your clients want things every 28 days, go ahead and set them up. And once you've set them up, or prior to setting them up, get your list in your SOI and call them and have a conversation with them and be like, hey, I know everybody is kind of concerned about what's going on in the market. A service that I'm doing for my clients and their friends, and I always use this term, and their friends and their family. What am I doing right there? I'm doing a soft solicit for referrals, right? So it's not just about them, because everybody's concerned about what's going on in the market. As a service to my client base, I'm sending out a monthly update. So don't be surprised when that shows up. And if you have any questions about that, please reach out to me. This is what we're talking about. It's not just a technology play on staying top of mind. The technology helps facilitate conversations. So don't ever lose sight of that. Maureen has a question.
Excuse me. I just discovered the other day, had an epiphany that if you feel overwhelmed by your database and you're like not really wanting to take that first bite, go into your MLS, into your client address book, and see who it is that you're working with and sending those listing alerts to, current people, and get those people in there first, especially because they're active. If you don't tag them, they're going to get linked or find somebody else that seems like they know a hell of a lot more than what they're doing. And
Good
you can
comment, Maureen.
also,
I love it. Yeah.
you can also export your whole MLS address book that has all those emails in there. So that makes it really easy too, that you can look at that and it can really, really help you for current people.
It's a great comment. So many ways to get people into your kvCORE SOI.
Awesome. So the next thing is if you have your client's address, what I would go out and do is I would set them up on a home valuation. You just plug in their address and it will come back and say, this is how much their home is worth. And then you can send it right away. And then anytime the market changes and that home value changes, it's going to send them an email. Like you can see right here, this home has decreased. They can go review now and go see how much it is decreased. And now you know that they're engaging and they're wanting to know their home value. One thing that I have a lot is people are like, why would I do this? Why would I have a computer generate this? Okay, you don't have to, but then they're going to go to Zillow and they're going to be on your website and they're going to be on Zillow. And then it's going to go to just John Doe, the agent on Zillow, and it's not going to come back to you. And that's where you're losing them. That 87% that's not coming back to you that said that they would use you, that's because they went over to Zillow because you weren't providing them the information fast enough that they wanted to have. And so I know that some people aren't impressed with the valuation tool, but it is way better than Zillow. And the reason why it's way better than Zillow is because we are connected to the MLS and we have all the sold data, and Zillow does not have the sold data. So that is something that we need to start utilizing and just get over the fact that it might not be super accurate. It shouldn't be, because you're the real estate agent. You're the only one that can give that valuation that's as accurate as possible. If a computer could do it, you would be out of a job.
Yeah. Well, and Aaron, you're hitting again on the key point, right? I've even had this experience with our own agents who are using the MLS, who are using the CMA tool, and they'll go out, and all of you can check yourselves and see if you've had this experience. If you've done this long enough, you probably have. A former client reaches out and says, hey, what's my house worth? Or the tax notice just came out and I'm not sure about the value. So we get in this game of establishing a value, and we take our 5-10 minutes and we go create a CMA, and then we send it to the client. And some percentage of the time they're like, wait a minute, that's not right. So why is that any different here, right? Because then we have a discussion. We're like, oh, well, what's not right? Oh, well, we actually finished the basement. Oh, well, this is just the same, a variation on the same thing. The whole point is to continue to have conversations.
Yeah, and the basement is a great point, Matt, because that's one of the biggest things is it's pulling the information off the tax data records. And if we don't report the basements, but as soon as they go review that, it's going to ask them, like, is this information accurate? Oh, no, I don't have 3 bedrooms. I have 5 bedrooms. They can go in and update it, and then it will redo the valuation to give them a more accurate. We have a question from Kelly. If it can be set up twice a year. Right now, it cannot be set up twice a year. I think it's every month that it sends it out. But that's something that I can request for future and see if that's something possible, because that would be nice to have it twice a year.
I think having the flexibility to say quarterly, semi-annually, annually, that's not a hard software thing. So yeah, let's get that on their roadmap.
Yeah, and something that's really nice, you guys, is that because Ron has so many connections with the CEO, they really listen to our ideas, and we're like one of the people that they're taking the ideas from. So that's great. I can submit that to them and see if that's something that we can improve.
Giselle has a question.
This is just more of a comment. I was doing this the other day and just did my own house just for fun. I think that's a really good practice for everyone to try. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, holy crap, I think I better sell my house. But it was really interesting just to do my own and see the information that was inaccurate. And when I put the new information in, it completely changed all of the comps and everything. So I think it's important for you to try and just do it on your own house or just do a practice one. It was actually very informative for me.
Giselle, if you need a good realtor, let me know.
Yeah, I'll refer one. Hey,
Okay.
So Giselle, thanks for chiming in, because I think that goes kind of back to the conversation. Rather than just turning this on like a flip of a switch and all of a sudden your SOI getting it, man, if you took 2 minutes to call your SOI and be like, this is the service I'm offering, and oh, by the way, make sure you check that the attributes of the house are right, basements, bedrooms, baths, etc. Because once you do that, it tends to be way more accurate. And then I'm a strong believer in future pacing. If you future pace, then you reduce the frustration and people are satisfied.
Yeah, I agree. And Giselle, I really liked your comment about putting it in for yourself, because I always suggest that on my personal one-on-one trainings is, okay, I showed you how to do it. Now let's go do it. And they're like, okay, who? You. Let's go set you up as a client, get you set up on market reports, get you set up on home valuation emails so that you know what your clients are receiving from you. So that's a great idea to go and do. And then the third layer, the third puzzle piece is the RE/MAX Utah Home app, which ties into what I was just talking about, the market report and the listing valuation emails. This is a tool that will help you with all things home. It's something that you can send to your client and they can get anything from homeowners insurance to a summer home maintenance checklist. When they decide to sell their home, it will tell them the process of selling their home, when they should hire a moving company, and how many boxes they should buy based on the square footage of their home. And this is just the small things that are in it right now. And there's even more to come for the future. So this is really exciting. Eventually, we're going to have all of the AIG companies in there. So if they want to go get a home inspection, they can go in there and go get a home inspection. If they want to refinance their home, that's already in there right now, and they can get a hold of Intralend to find out about refinancing their home. So we're excited to see this tool happen. We're the there's one other company out there that has this right now. I won't name names, but we're RE/MAX and it's okay.
Hey, Aaron,
What?
who develops this app? Who's the company that develops this app?
Inside Real Estate.
Oh, you mean the same one that owns kvCORE?
Yes.
Oh, so there's like tight integration between it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's very exciting to see. Ron's worked really closely with them, and I hope you guys were all able to attend the meetings with Arshad last week. They were really great. If you weren't, there are videos on our website at remaxofutah.com. Go to our training vault and you can go watch it and actually learn more about this tool from the guy that is creating it. So if you didn't watch that, go out and go take a look at that. Any other comments on it, Matt?
Well, I would just say, I love the little metaphor you created, Aaron, the pieces of the puzzle. Obviously, SOI drives everything. You've got to get it into a management platform, which is kvCORE. Now you have an app, and it's really important. Arshad covered this, and you reinforced it, Aaron, in the trainings. When this first came out, a lot of agents were frustrated because they thought it was an app for them. No, just like we said, you should download it yourself so you can see what your clients are getting. But this is for your clients, primarily, first and foremost, to stay top of mind. That is the purpose of this app. All the bells and features that Aaron just described, they're all cool and they can be helpful, but it is really, if you look at the top, you're branded across the top. Top of mind, top of mind, top of mind. I am your resource. Don't go, anywhere else.
Yes.
I just want to chime in and say, after starting to kind of see overall of what the system does, I disconnected or I stopped paying for other touch materials, and it's literally going to save me like $2,000 a year.
Hey,
Wow.
thanks, me. That's a great comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Young, I also want to say, like, this is no cost. This is what you get for being a RE/MAX associate agent. So there's not an additional cost for this app.
I know, and I appreciate it so much.
Yes.
Since we're on that topic, I'm going to add one more thing. If we were to go out as just Joe Blow agents, one, you can't get kvCORE, the platform, as just an agent. You can, their entry point is a small team. And I believe it starts at over $1,000 a month. And, I've said this before, it's almost a bad thing that we give it to you free, because when it's free, people are like, oh yeah, it's free. I can get to it tomorrow. I can get to it. If you were paying $1,000 or $1,100 a month, I promise you'd be paying a little more attention to it. So pretend like you're paying $1,100 a month.
Yes. Okay. Now, all you have to do, you guys, is get your SOI inside of kvCORE. That's what we're asking you guys to do. You can also send your personalized app to your clients when you're inside of kvCORE, where your name was, where I told you to change your profile. If you, the drop down, it will have a little phone icon and it will have a link to your RE/MAX Utah home app that you can start sending out to your clients. But the key right now is to make sure that you get your SOI over to me. If you need help, I can send out, call me, text me, email me. I can send you a link to my Calendly. It will take, like I said, 15 minutes, maybe even faster if you know how to log in to your email. And we can get your contacts exported. We'll get them exported off of your phone, and then we can get them inside of kvCORE.
Yep.
And the fourth layer, the fourth puzzle piece is your marketing company, AMG. We're here to help you guys. I don't think a lot of you guys know what we offer, but we do monthly postcards. We do quarterly postcards. Matt was actually talking to me about this yesterday, and he's like, what are the top things that people use in the marketing company? And I said, the monthly postcards. I have never had an agent start the monthly postcards and then stop the monthly postcards. So what does that say to me? That it works. They would stop using it if it wasn't working. If their contacts weren't getting back to them and saying, hey, I got that recipe postcard that you sent me last month. That was a great recipe. Thank you for sending it to me. They would stop doing it. And we have all things from spring checklists that you can send. We have recent housing stats that you can send quarterly. We have, one of the best things that we have is the football calendar. So a lot of people love sending out the football calendar, and we can do it as a magnet that they can stick on their fridge, so you're top of mind. So the third piece is going to be marketing outside of your, well, it's going to be marketing to your SOI. And then kvCORE platform is going to help you stay forefront with emails and text messages and phone calls. And then RE/MAX Utah Home platform is going to help you as an app where they're going to keep coming back because they can get their home value. They can look for their next home. They can get a summer checklist right away. They can find out their mover. And then also, you want to have something in the mail, something that they physically have in their hands that they can remember who you are. So a postcard, maybe it's a flyer, maybe it's a door hanger, pie appreciation events. Maybe that's a flyer that you put on top of the pie. We're here for you guys for
so just share with them a picture of a pie, but don't give them a pie.
Yeah, no,
okay.
put a pie and then
Sweet.
give it to them. No, we actually had an agent out of our Layton office do that, a postcard with a pie, and go pick it up at Neaters. It's on me for free. So instead of having a physical pie that you come get, it's on a postcard that they can just go pick up, you know? So just different ways of marketing. Another thing is open house events. I wanted to touch that with that a little bit, you guys. I've had a lot of agents start using us for open house events. Hey, they're going to have an open house this weekend, and they tell me what the address is, or tell Taylor what the address is. And we go put it on our Facebook, and then we boost it to try to get people there. I had 15 people respond to the last open house that I put out there that said they were going. So that's really good stats.
Can I comment on that, Erin? I'm going to diverge just for a second. I get asked because I am a stat and an economic forecasting kind of geek. I immerse myself in that arena. And, you know, at the front end of the year, January, we were hoping that 2023 was going to accelerate as the year went on. And unfortunately, it has stayed relatively flat. I mean, that's good news, bad news, right? Good news is we didn't decline. The bad news, we didn't accelerate. And everything that I've been reading over the past 2 months is indicating that we're probably going to stay some level of that flat norm through the end of the year at a minimum. And so I'm not saying that to be Debbie Downer. I'm actually saying that to say, well, dues are coming up for most of the agents here in July. So there's going to be a big drop off in the agents. But more importantly for us and what we're talking about today, if you have things set up like this, or like Erin, like you just said, with open houses, the name of the game for the next 6 to 9 months is you've got to find ways to stay top of mind and capture more business from what's there, because the pie isn't growing for the next 6 to 9 months, right? And so the people who are going to have success are the ones that take this seriously and actually stay more in contact, stay top of mind, and look for avenues to capture potential clients. And so I love the fact that you talked about open houses because over the years, open houses don't work. And I have several examples of agents who actually make a living off of that because they capture lots of buyers and even other sellers because they're impressed with what they're doing by way of being a proactive agent trying to get the deal closed. So just rethink what you're doing.
Yep. And open houses, if you do an open house, have them download your mobile app to check into the open house. I loved what Arshad said about that.
Yes.
And way to capture the lead. So
Aaron's, to connect the dot, Aaron, I'm not sure everybody understood that. So with the Utah Home app, you have that ability to create a QR code. Most of our clients want to know who were there. And we usually have a little sign-in sheet, and it's a hit and miss thing because somebody comes in while you're talking to somebody else and you miss them. If you just have that QR code right before entering the house we require, or however you politely say that, to check in, and they scan that with their phone, their stuff's captured. And now you have potential new clients. They're not clients yet, but they're potential, right? And so that is such a cool way to do it. And it creates a pretty cool report to show your sellers that you're a tech savvy, attentive listing agent as well.
yes, I agree.
Okay, so let's go to our next slide. We started out with this before I have some comments on this. The purpose today, in case you didn't get it, was a call to action, and your specific call to action is to get your database off your phone, off your email, into kvCORE. And we debated this, didn't we, Aaron? It's like, well, we want to get into some of the tech and the very specifics of it. I'm like, it doesn't matter if we go into the tech if they can't apply it, and they can't apply it unless they have their SOI into kvCORE. So that is our challenge today, and we wanted to paint this 30,000 foot view of how the pieces fit together, and so you can start crafting in your mind how it fits in with your business plan, to help you with your business plan so that you have success. So I'm going to go back to this stat. 93% say they would work with the same agent again, 15% don't. I've got a couple of vehicles. One's a truck, one's a
15% do, Matt.
Oh, sorry, 15% do. Did I say that wrong? I
Yeah,
apologize.
you said don't.
Yeah, 93% say they will, 15% actually do. But anyways, I've thought about this and this whole concept of staying top of mind. I want you everybody on the call to think about this, since it's relatively infrequent. If you have car problems, that may or may not be why this was forefront of my mind. I may or may not have a problem with my truck. A lot of times we
Drive-by shooting.
Thanks, Dan. When it's something infrequent, most people, when they have like a car issue, the first thing they do, I get my kids call me, Dad, who would you use for a mechanic, right? Because they know that's kind of one of my areas of domains, and I've got some friends. But we need to be the mechanics, right? In the real estate world. We want to be the one when that question gets asked of somebody, our clients, and here's where this really gets exponential. We talk a lot about our SOI and our clients. That is the small piece of the pie, right? Because our clients, they have parents, they have kids, they have brothers and sisters, they have neighborhood people, they have whatever organizations they belong to. So if you do this right and you stay top of mind, when they get asked the mechanic question, metaphorically, they get talking about doing real estate, and they ask a question, I don't know what's going on in the market. Can you imagine if well, you know what, my realtor, Giselle, she keeps me up to date on stuff, and I just got something that said X, Y, or Z. Oh, well, who's her agent? You know what I mean? Who do you use for your agent? This sounds so simple, but it is in my humble opinion, it is the most neglected thing in our entire industry by far. And yet it's the thing that could produce the biggest results. And so, really grateful you're on the call. Aaron, you had one more slide, I think.
I do.
To just clarify on the apps.
Yep. I have one more slide that I wanted to share with you guys. This is sometimes confusing to people. So I want to explain this a little bit more. Is the kvCORE app is your agent facing app. That is for you as the agent. This isn't for your client. This is for you to manage your SOI database.
So just another view of what you would see on your PC.
Yep, but maybe you're on the go, going, showing homes. This is where you could open it up, start making calls while you're waiting for your client to come to the listing you're going to show them. So that's where you would use this. The next one is First IO app, and this is brought to you by Remax LLC. This is something that you could purchase through them. It gives you alerts on, hey, they were out looking at something on a website, maybe Home Depot, and looking at stuff for their home. They might be interested in moving. And so that would alert you and let you know, like, hey, they might be wanting to buy, or they might be looking to sell their home. And it will give you like rank them, like, hey, they're 3-star, connect with them today and see how they're doing. And then there's also Remax Utah Home app, and that is the one that is client facing. This is for your client. This isn't for you. This is for them to search for homes. This is for them to look at their home value. And this is for them to get a summer home checklist, or to find out, hey, I have a roof that needs replaced. Who's a good roofer? Oh, let's go over to my Remax Utah Home app and see if they have a roofer. Or I need my sprinklers repaired. They can go in there and find who you would suggest to hire. And so that's what the Remax Utah Home app is. I would still go download it so you can see what your consumer is looking at, and so you can see how it works. But this is client facing. This is not for you to go get a home value on your client's listing. I had that question. It is not for you. It is for your client.
Yeah. Good points. All right. So let's click the next 2 slides here. All right. So again, coming full picture, I hope you understand what today was. We didn't want to overwhelm you with the specific bells and whistles and the details of how to implement them, because paramount to all of this is getting your SOI into kvCORE. I think I've beat that horse to death now, but go one more slide, Aaron. These are the modules that will be upcoming, and this is where we get a little more granular as to what switch does what, and here's how you turn this on. This is how you execute. But I think it was important for us to establish that 30,000 foot view of how these pieces fit together, what they're intended for, how you can use them, and the overall purpose of the complete puzzle. I just personally want to tell Erin thanks. She's vested in this, guys. She's a believer, and she really does want to help you succeed in your business. I think she's crazy sometimes because she's so personally vested. I'm only partially personally vested. I'm joking. I think I'm pretty vested, but we really do want you guys to succeed. And so please make sure as you look at this on screen. Aaron, did you send out with the bulletin last week? I think, did you send out a attached flyer of when these dates are?
Yes, I did. And it will go out in the bulletin today. And just so you guys know, I typoed. The last one is going to be Core Presents. So make sure you go to that.
Yeah, Core Presents, just a teaser. I give Dan a hard time. We have a good relationship, but he's going to do that module, and love the fact that he is a past appraiser and can really put some additional spin on why this is such a powerful tool. So hopefully you come away from all of these modules. When we're done with these 5 modules, you'll feel very equipped to leverage what the company is bringing to bear for your benefit and for your clients.
And when we're done, we're going to have all of these trainings on Remax of Utah. If you guys haven't been on Remax of Utah, there's a whole training vault over there with any of Matt's videos that he does with contracts and negotiations, his broker minute or 2 every month, Katie's role play or coaching calls. All of those are on there. So go take a look. If you haven't looked, just go to remaxofutah.com and then training vault.
Hey, so I'm going to say one last thing on that. It's funny, I had a question from an agent the other day, and I said, hey, let's go to remaxofutah.com, click on Training Vault, and then there's a search window. And he had a question, I think, on earnest money or something like that, and started typing the word, and up came 2 videos for him that could answer his question. All right.
Questions, anybody? Q&A, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I love Marie. Two things. One, Kelly, Dan, thanks for mentioning that. If you're not paying attention to the chat, the Remax LLC app, which is First IO, because we are members of Gold Nation, there is a discount And then I also appreciate Aaron, your comment. I think it's appropriate to end on. Aaron is our secret weapon.
Oh, you guys, thank you.
Yeah. So great job. Thanks for being in attendance. And at any time, reach out to me or Aaron and we'll try and take care of you.
Have a wonderful day, you guys.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
See ya.
Bye.